We did it, everyone. It is over. The end of the Thunderdome era. Thank you very much for your service during a trying time, but now it is time to get back to the wrestling we all know and love in front of a live audience. I think it's fair to say we're all ready for the Thunderdome and the TV screens and the piped-in crowd noise and the just synthetic nature of it all to go away. Go away. But that doesn't mean it was all bad. I'm Rick Ucchino, here again for Sportskeeda Wrestling. Let's take a look back at the 5 most memorable moments of the Thunderdome. Number 5, the Firefly Inferno match. WWE did the best with what they could as far as experimentation when it came to the Thunderdome. They tried out various gimmick matches during the pandemic era, and it resulted in an increase of cinematic style matches. The Firefly Funhouse match, the Swamp Fight, Boneyard match, etc., etc. But WWE upped the ante at TLC with the Firefly Inferno match, where it stipulated that you needed to set your opponent on fire to win the matchup. And it was quite the scene, as WWE, unlike Inferno matches in the past, literally set ablaze the entire Thunderdome, leaving a trap to fall in for both Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton wherever they stepped. Eventually, it was the Viper who set the Fiend ablaze and won the match, but moreover, doused the man in gasoline and burned him alive. Spoiler alert, kids, don't worry, the Fiend came back at WrestleMania, so all is well. Well, except for the fact that he disappeared again shortly after WrestleMania, so maybe all isn't well. But regardless, the entire imagery of that matchup was definitely one that left an impression during the Thunderdome era. Plus, a man just got burned alive. I mean, you don't just forget something like that. Number 4, Edge winning the Royal Rumble. Edge's first match inside the Thunderdome was this year's Men's Royal Rumble match. He entered in at number 1 and kicked things off with his longtime rival Randy Orton. After taking Orton out of the match, not eliminating him, very important detail there, Edge would soldier on and meet the likes of Daniel Bryan, Christian, Riddle, and so many more. He would eventually eliminate both Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins to apparently win the match, but then out of nowhere, see what I did there? Randy Orton would return to deliver the RKO, and he had Edge on the verge of elimination before the Rated R superstar garnered enough strength to toss Orton over the top rope and win his second ever Royal Rumble. At 46 years old, Edge went wire to wire, entering at the very first spot and outlasting 29 other superstars to earn a world title opportunity at WrestleMania 37. Number 3, Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship. There have been many significant title changes inside of WWE's Thunderdome over the past year or so. However, none might have been more fulfilling than Bobby Lashley finally capturing the big one. The Almighty began this transformation into an unstoppable beast following his alliance with MVP in early 2020. That association led him to winning the United States Championship and enjoying a dominant run of nearly 6 months. However, immediately after he dropped that title in a triple threat match, Lashley made his intentions clear. He was coming after the WWE Championship. When The Miz won the gold off of Drew McIntyre at Elimination Chamber by cashing in Money in the Bank, that set everything in motion to make Bobby Lashley just a week later. On the March 1st episode of Monday Night Raw, the Almighty defeated The Miz in a marathon night where we didn't even think the match was gonna happen. But thanks to Adam Pearce, Lashley would go on to dominate The Miz in the main event of Monday Night Raw, finally capturing the WWE Championship in front of all of his peers in a lumberjack match. Number 2, the return of Roman Reigns. SummerSlam was actually the first pay-per-view to take place inside of the Thunderdome. The state-of-the-art arena was visually stunning and made for a very cool change of pace following months inside an empty performance center. The evening would witness some great matches like Asuka vs. Sasha Banks, Dominic Mysterio's debut against Seth Rollins, and many others. However, the end of the show took most of the headlines following the Fiend Bray Wyatt defeating Braun Strowman in a Falls Count Anywhere match to capture the Universal Championship. That is when Reigns decided to strike. Prior to WrestleMania 36, Roman Reigns decided to take some time off during the global pandemic, and in the months that follow, he was out of sight and out of mind until his shocking arrival inside the Thunderdome at SummerSlam. This was not only a surprising return, but the big dog also had a change in demeanor, trash-talking both Wyatt and Strowman during his return. It eventually led to Reigns aligning himself with Paul Heyman and winning the Universal title just a week later at Payback. Reigns gradually developed into this tribal chief persona we've all come to know and love, and he has successfully now positioned himself as perhaps the biggest heel in all of professional wrestling. And topping our list this week, The Undertaker's final farewell. For a while, it looked like the dead man would never step foot inside of the Thunderdome. The Last Ride documentary seemingly cemented his retirement and showed us that he was satisfied with the highly entertaining Boneyard match against AJ Styles at WrestleMania 36 and wanted to just ride off into the sunset. Survivor Series 2020 marked 30 years since The Undertaker's debut, and so WWE decided he was going to have his final farewell to celebrate his landmark arrival and his career. The WWE Universe was greeted by Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kane, and other legends who were front and center during the Phenom's historic run. Even the chairman himself, Vince McMahon, arrived at the Thunderdome to pay his respects to The Undertaker. The dead man made one final walk down the aisle in an emotional scene in the WWE Thunderdome, delivered his farewell speech, and one last rest in peace. Putting the cherry on top of this dramatic final farewell, The Undertaker did his iconic pose with a hologram of Paul Bearer. That is our list for the day. Make sure to give us the old thumbs up there and make sure to subscribe to the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel for more content like this, plus exclusive interviews and so much more.